हां हे माझा अजून काय
माननीय राज्यपाल महोदय, शपथविधी समारंभ सुरू करण्याची परवानगी असावी. माननीय राज्यपाल महोदय, उपमुख्यमंत्री पदाची तसेच गुप्ततेची शपथ घेण्यासाठी पदनिर्देशित उपमुख्यमंत्री महोदया उपस्थित आहेत. त्यांना आपणासमोर शपथ घेण्याची परवानगी असावी. श्रीमती सुनेत्रा अजित पवार.
मी सुनेत्रा अजित पवार गांभीर्यपूर्वक प्रतिज्ञा करते की कायद्याद्वारे स्थापित झाले आहे अशा भारताच्या संविधानाबद्दल मी खरी श्रद्धा व निष्ठा बाळगीन. मी भारताची सार्वभौमता व एकात्मता उन्नत राखीन. मी महाराष्ट्र राज्याची उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून माझी कामे निष्ठापूर्वक व ससद्विवेक बुद्धीने पार पाडेन आणि संविधान व कायदा यानुसार सर्व तऱ्हेच्या लोकांना मी गांभीर्यपणे व निपक्षपातीपणे तसेच कोणाच्याही विषयी ममत्वभाव किंवा आकस न बाळगता न्याय वागणूक देईन. मी सुनेत्रा अजित पवार गांभीर्यपूर्वक प्रतिज्ञा करते की महाराष्ट्र राज्याची उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून माझ्या विचारार्थ आणली जाईल किंवा मला ज्ञात होईल अशी कोणतीही बाब अशी उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून माझी कामे यथायोग्य पार पाडण्यासाठी आवश्यक असेल ते खेरीज करून एरवी मी कोणत्याही व्यक्तीला किंवा व्यक्तींना प्रत्यक्षपणे वा अप्रत्यक्षपणे कळवणार नाही किंवा त्यांच्याकडे उघड करणार नाही.
धन्यवाद.
आता शपथविधी पूर्ण झालेला आहे.
On your screens at this point in time, the newly appointed Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Sunetra Pawar, along with Devendra Fadnavis, the Governor of the state, and Deputy Eknath Shinde. On your screens at this point in time, chants from supporters, workers of the NCP, Ajit Dada Amar Rahe, clearly remembering Ajit Pawar on this solemn occasion where Sunetra Pawar, under unusual circumstances, takes oath as the next Deputy Chief Minister, the first woman to take oath as the next Deputy Chief Minister, as the Deputy Chief Minister of the state of Maharashtra. I'm going to go straight across to Vidya for more details on that story. Vidya, this is a solemn moment where Sunetra Pawar, under very unusual and tragic circumstances really, has taken oath as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, occupying the position that Ajit Pawar so suddenly left vacant.
In a somber function, we did see, a few minutes of this entire ceremony unfolding with, with sloganing of Ajit Dada Amar Rahe being called out by the MLAs who are here, MLCs, the legislators who are here, and in the midst of it, Sunetra Pawar went up to the podium. He signed the document, oath as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, the first Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, because the state has got as a woman. The ceremony is complete, and now the real responsibility, the real task lies for Sunetra Pawar to prove her mantle, to ensure that the party stays together. And of course, all this is in the midst of the merger conversations that are happening, the talks that are happening, wherein there are discussions happening with the Excise Pawar faction, talking about a merger with the Ajit Pawar faction. However, in the midst of that, she has to prove her mantle. She has to ensure that the portfolios that she is going to hold, she will do justice to them and ensure that nothing, she takes on all the responsibility is something that she has to do.
Absolutely. She takes on all responsibilities, I would presume, Vidya, and correct me if I'm wrong. This also means that Ajit Pawar's important portfolios that he was holding while he was alive is something that automatically Sunetra Pawar would continue to hold?
Well, most of the portfolios are with the budget session, in the next few weeks, the budget has to be done out, which Ajit Pawar would have done it. With Sunetra Pawar being right now in Bollywood, where, of course, the session swearing ceremony is over. However, for her to get down deep into the financial portfolio of the state and ensure that the financial distribution in the state is equitable for everyone, so that which is exactly what Ajit Pawar would have wanted. That something would have been difficult, and it is being said that the finance portfolio for the president might be handled by the chief minister, while the rest of the portfolios that she will certainly be handling at the moment. But then after the budget session is over, the Ajit faction certainly would want to stay on the finance portfolio, one of the most important portfolio that Ajit Pawar might be handling for many years.
They're getting in those details at this point in time, but the big question here, Vidya, also remains on what next as far as the leadership of the party is concerned. Talk to us about what is being discussed internally within the party and who is going to be at the, leading the party, involved in day-to-day organizational affairs of the party moving forward.
Of course, in the next coming days, it's not just the party that she has to hold on to together. She also has to ensure that the portfolios she has, the fact that the party has to stay together. Though, as we did see, the entire party unanimously decided, though there were only 3 legislators who could not make it, but it is said that they had their personal reasons because of which they couldn't come. And the rest of the party does stand back behind her, ensuring that all that the party is seeking is that the portfolio and the strength of the Ajit Pawar faction stood by with Ajit Pawar. The same stands by with Sunetra Pawar as well. So that's something that the party is trying to ensure, and of course Sunetra Pawar not letting them down. As of now, the ceremony has ended, but much of the responsibility and the fact that she really has to prove her mantle will really be done now.
Yes, that certainly is a challenge, carrying forward her husband's legacy over the years, authority over the years. But tell us a little more, Vidya, about what next as far as all these speculations about merging with the NCP's Sharad Pawar faction is concerned. There's been so much chatter around it. Tell us what really is the inside track of these, of all of this. Of course, Sharad Pawar has spoken about all of this as media speculation, isn't it?
Well, Sharad Pawar certainly has spoken about but then if you look at it, it does seem like there is hardly any conversations that has really happened between the Pawar clan and between the Pawar parties that have, been part of this entire one unity that they had shown until now. But the conversations that we have seen, that certainly inch closer to the fact that, as of now, the merger talks are not really, something of priority to the Ajit Pawar faction. What they're really looking at is ensuring that the government goes on smoothly as it had been going on earlier. And so that immediately, right now, the party is in power, ensures that they remain in power, and nothing untoward really happens on that front.
All right, that's in fact one of the most important things that the party would want to achieve at this point in time. They continue to be in power. Sunetra Pawar taking over as the Deputy Chief Minister. She's just taken oath, viewers, a few moments ago. On your screens, the pictures are from a few moments ago, where at the Lok Bhavan, she took oath as the Deputy Chief Minister, filling that vacant position that had been, in fact, been necessitated after the tragic demise of Ajit Pawar in that accident just on the 28th of January, just a few days ago. Vidya continues to be with us. Vidya, as far as the challenges for Sunetra Pawar is concerned, is also about keeping the flock together, keeping the party together. Ajit Pawar was extremely popular within the party, as we've seen even in their home turf of Baramati, and this certainly is going to be a challenge. I think the first battle has been won, because there's been just unanimity when it comes to suggesting Sunetra Pai's name as the next Deputy Chief Minister. Everybody from within the party have actually thrown their weight behind Sunetra Pawar, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is. In fact, it does. This entire show of strength really makes it a couple of things very clear. One, the Ajit Pawar faction is one flock right now. They are not a dispersed society at the moment. Secondly, they are standing by with as much strength as they were standing behind Ajit Pawar. It's the same that is they are standing in right now with Sunetra Pawar as well. And in fact, right now, as we can see, some of the dignitaries are actually walking out. Let's try and see if we can speak to some of them. And as to, this is Sana Malik, who is really speaking.
On the occasion. Let's try speaking. बहुत डिफिकल्ट वक्त है इस समय। इस तरह से अगर इनको DCM बनाने के बाद अब एक पॉजिटिव एंगल हमें मिल रहा है, एक नई दिशा पार्टी को मिल रही है। भाई
अरे बूम नीचे करो यार। BBC अबे
We will in fact go back to these reactions also that are pouring in. This is a story which is developing. A few moments ago, Sunetra Pawar took oath as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra after the death of her husband, Ajit Pawar. Maharashtra gets its first woman Deputy Chief Minister. Challenge before Sunetra Pawar, keeping the party together. Of course, carrying forward the legacy of Ajit Pawar. And within the NCP as well, the big question remains on whether there's going to be a possible merger. There's been so much speculation. A section of the NCP senior leaders have been very vocal about this, that this was something that Ajit Pawar wanted. I'm going to go across to my colleague Preeti Chaudhary also for more on that story. Preeti, unusual and what tragic circumstances under which Maharashtra gets its first woman Deputy Chief Minister today?
Well, Sneha, this is the nature of politics, isn't it? Because it's been just about 48 hours since the last rites of Ajit Pawar have taken place, and his wife has already been sworn in his place as Deputy Chief Minister. All of this also happens at a time where there is politics swirling in the political theatre of Maharashtra, especially where NCP is concerned. There was fair amounts of talks that will the two factions for longevity, for survival, facing an existential crisis, come together, which is NCP Sharad Pawar and NCP Ajit Pawar. In midst of all of this, you have the party, the family patriarch, Sharad Pawar, who has gone on record to say that he really has no idea or had no idea that Sunetra Pawar would be taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister, and these are the internal matters of the party. But, what is important to underline is what Sharad Pawar said, that, there were talks of both the factions coming in together, which is the Ajit Pawar, Sharad Pawar faction, and Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar were speaking of that. Many other leaders have also come out that possibly it was the 12th of February when an announcement had to be made of both the factions coming in together. Now, with the demise, the untimely demise of Ajit Pawar, that looks implausible, at least in the recent future. Because what we've been given to understand that Sharad Pawar and the Pawar family were not, had called for a family meeting on, whether to discuss the latest development. And despite that, Sunetra Pawar, along with her two sons, Parth and Jay, with the senior leadership of the Ajit Pawar NCP faction, left for Mumbai. Now, there will be implications of this. Sunetra Pawar will have to vacate her Rajya Sabha post. Many also seem to suggest that it could very well, that...
एयरपोर्ट क्रैश में मृत्यु हुआ है। महाराष्ट्र में पहली घटना ऐसी हुई है तो राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी ने निर्णय लिया कि अजीत दादा तो चले गए हैं, फिर अजीत दादा की याद रखने के लिए उनकी पत्नी को ही मतलब डिप्टी सीएम बनाना आवश्यक है, पार्टी का अध्यक्ष बनाना आवश्यक है। इसीलिए उन्होंने मतलब ये निर्णय लिया। ये तो जल्दी शपथ हुआ, ये बात सही है, लेकिन राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी ने निर्णय लिया, माननीय देवेंद्र फडणवीस ने उसको मान्यता दी और आज सुनेत्रा अजीत पवार जी ने शपथ ली है और पहली बार महाराष्ट्र की महिला डिप्टी सीएम बनी है।
लेकिन अठावे जी, बहुत सारे लोग कह रहे हैं कि अभी तो शोक चल ही रहा था, इतनी जल्दबाजी क्या थी, किस बात की थी?
जल्दबाजी का विषय नहीं है। भी जल्दबाजी, अजीत दादा भी ऐसे थे कि अगर कोई ऐसा दुख का कोई प्रसंग आता है तो उसके बाद अजीत दादा दूसरे दिन काम पे लगते थे। तो जो मतलब पवार फैमिली है, पवार साहब, शरद पवार साहब भी है, वो भी मतलब काम पे लगे हैं। तो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत जल्दी हुआ है, बात सही है, लेकिन अजीत दादा का अधूरा काम पूरा करने के लिए, अजीत दादा हमेशा काम करने वाले थे, तो उनकी याद अगर रखनी है तो जल्दी ये प्रोग्राम होना चाहिए था। इसीलिए राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी ने निर्णय लिया और आज सुनेत्रा पवार जी का शपथ हुआ है और वो जो महिला डिप्टी सीएम है पहली महाराष्ट्र में बनी है, वो अजीत दादा को याद रखकर अजीत दादा जिस तरह काम करते थे उस तरह काम।
मर्जर की भी बात हो रही है, शरद पवार फैक्शन जो है वो कह रहा है कि मर्जर की भी बात हो रही है। आपको लगता है ये मर्जर होगा इस तरह से?
हाँ, उसके बारे में मुझे मालूम नहीं है। अभी मर्जर के लिए डिफिकल्टी ये है कि भाई शरद पवार साहब अगर एनडीए में महायुति में आना चाहते हैं तो ही मतलब दोनों का एक साथ आना हो सकता है। तो इसीलिए मुझे लगता है कि
स्वागत होगा।
अगर वो आते हैं तो उनका तो स्वागत है।
शुक्रिया। तो ये थे रामदास अठावले। अभी इस वक्त बहुत सारे जो नेता हैं वो
All right, images of on your screen of Chhagan Bhujbal as well, senior leader of the party, and a reaction also coming in. Let's take a listen.
सही बात है, आप ये कह रहे हैं कि पहली जो है महाराष्ट्र राज्य
Chhagan Bhujbal on your screens at this point in time. Also, my colleague Vidya was in conversation with Ramdas Athavale there, who's also, in fact, really not spoken much about the possible merger. But there's a big question mark that stands on whether both the factions would come together. And for more on that, I'm going to go across to Preeti. Preeti, there's been so much speculation for days and weeks now on a possible merger, really, of both of these factions. But what I find really interesting at this point in time is the fact that Sharad Pawar has said, I wasn't even consulted. This is a decision that the party has taken internally about Sunetra Pawar taking over. What's your sense, really? What are you picking up on what's brewing as far as both these factions are concerned?
You know, eventually, if you look at it, Sneha, both the parties, which is the Sharad Pawar faction and the Ajit Pawar faction, will need to come together if you are looking at it through the prism of longevity. It's an existential crisis.
We have more news coming in. Preeti, be with us. I'm coming back to you for more on that, but this is the story we are breaking at this hour. Let's take a look.
राह पर चलने वाले हम तो चाहते हैं कि महिला मुख्यमंत्री भी बननी चाहिए। सारी बड़े बड़ी जगह के ऊपर जो है महिला हमको दिखनी चाहिए। और ये एक बात है कि अभी वो जो हादसा हुआ है उसके पार्श्वभूमि पर जो है ये सब प्रोग्राम हुआ, करना पड़ा, क्योंकि 3 दिन के बाद कितना दिन हम रुकते थे।
लेकिन वही बात तो बहुत सारे
चर्चा शुरू।
बहुत सारे लोग तो इसी बात के कह रहे हैं कि कितनी जल्दी क्या थी, अभी तो शोक खत्म भी नहीं हुआ था।
अभी भी शोक खत्म, फिर भी आप ही लोग जो है पहले दिन से पूछ रहे हैं कि मर्जर का क्या होगा, तो उसमें जल्दबाजी नहीं है। तो ये अपनी अपनी जो समझ की बात है, कोई बोले 3 दिन 4 दिन जल्दी हो, कोई बोले लेट हो। हम तो चाहते हैं कि दिल्ली में दूसरे दिन उसी दिन जो है शपथ ली गई है, ये भी देखा है हमने।
तो ये थे छगन भुजबल जो बता रहे थे कि किस तरह से जो कोई जल्दबाजी है सच नहीं है जैसा कि लोग कह रहे हैं। कैमरामैन राजू इनामदार के साथ विद्या, मुंबई आज तक।
There was no hurry is what Chhagan Bhujbal has said, and there was no, in fact, this was something that really depends on one's opinion as far as questions on why did she take over so early was posed by my colleague Vidya. More news. All is clearly not well in the Pawar family over Sunetra Pawar taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister. Supriya Sule has refused to answer when questioned regarding Sunetra's oath ceremony.
सगळा महाराष्ट्र बघतोय पवार साहेब का शपथ दिली
आम्ही तुमच्यासाठी काम करू।
एकच शब्द
कुठेतरी विश्वासात घेतलं नाही का ते? रामकृष्ण
सगळा महाराष्ट्र बघतोय पवार साहेब का शपथ दिली
आम्ही तुमच्यासाठी काम करू।
एकच शब्द
कुठेतरी विश्वासात घेतलं नाही का ते? रामकृष्ण
सगळा महाराष्ट्र।
All right, so Sunetra Pawar has taken oath as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, but when asked these questions, Supriya Sule refuses to answer when these questions are posed to her by the reporters. Of course, Supriya Sule, the daughter of Sharad Pawar, continues to be in her father's faction of the NCP, was there for the family when this horrific tragedy took place just a few days ago, roughly about 3 odd days ago. And now asked this question about Sunetra Pawar taking over as the Deputy Chief Minister. She refuses to answer these questions posed by the press. Now when Sharad Pawar was also asked this question, also the patriarch really of the Pawar family and heading the NCP, his own faction, he said that I do not know. This is a decision that has been taken by the party internally. The sense really is that they aren't very happy about what has happened as far as Sunetra Pawar taking over is concerned. Because questions are also being raised on why the hurry here as far as Sunetra taking over is concerned. Also speculations that both the factions of the NCP could merge. Something that senior leaders have spoken about, saying this was Ajit Pawar's wish as well, that the Sharad Pawar faction and his faction, late Ajit Pawar's faction, should come together. But clearly that is not something that has happened at this point in time. But in fact, Sunetra Pawar continues to be a member of the NCP and of her husband's faction of the party, and now a member of a part of the government, with her taking over as the Deputy Chief Minister and Eknath Shinde as the second deputy, and of course Devendra Fadnavis as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Sharad Pawar and Supriya Sule and other members of the Pawar family weren't there for the oath-taking ceremony as well. It's an internal matter of the party, is what senior leader of the party, Sharad Pawar, and the patriarch really of the family said when asked questions on Sunetra Pawar taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister. Clearly indications that they aren't very happy about what has happened. Ajit Pawar died tragically just a few days ago in a horrific airplane crash, after which this post was left vacant. Of course, Ajit Pawar held important portfolios also within the Maharashtra cabinet, and these naturally would be now held by Sunetra Pawar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken out. He says, and I quote him, best wishes to Sunetra Pawar ji as she begins her tenure as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. The first woman to hold this position, this responsibility. I am confident she will work tirelessly for the welfare of the people, Prime Minister Modi says. The people of the state and fulfill the vision of late Ajit Dada Pawar. That's what is now being said by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It's time for a quick commercial break here. News continues on the other side.
You are watching India Today.
Introducing Motorola Signature.
Introducing Motorola Signature. Don't blend in, stand out.
The challenge for Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman would be to maintain stability amidst volatile geo-economic situation.
What will this budget mean for the average taxpayer and the common citizen?
And how will the reforms expressed continue to be on track in 2026?
Join my colleagues Maria Shakil and Siddharth Zarabi. Budget coverage of Modinomics 2026. See you there.
लेकिन अब सुनेत्रा पवार पार्टी लेजिस्लेटिव पार्टी की मीटिंग हो रही है और हो सकता है कि वो उसकी नेता चुनी जाए, तो क्या उससे कोई फर्क पड़ेगा? सुनेत्रा पवार अब विधानसभा में एनसीपी के उसको आप किस तरीके से?
सुनेत्रा भाभी का भी नाम समझो, दोनों पार्टी मिलके इकट्ठा आता है सामने, तो खुशी की बात है उसमें।
उसमें कोई दिक्कत की बात
नहीं, कोई इतराज नहीं। दोनों पार्टी मिलके आता है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है।
क्या अब भी मर्जर हो सकता है दोनों फ्रैक्शंस का? आपको लगता है कि ये मर्जर होगा अभी भी?
देखिए, हमारे जो माननीय अजीत दादा की अंतिम इच्छा थी, सब लोगों का कहना है कि अजीत दादा की जो इच्छा थी, उनके जाने के बाद वो इच्छा दोनों पार्टी के सब नेताओं ने या विधायकों ने इकट्ठा के पूरी करना चाहिए। और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि दोनों पार्टी के सब नेता और विधायक इकट्ठा के दोनों पार्टी का मर्जर जैसा अजीत दादा चाहते थे वैसा करेंगे, ऐसी उम्मीद मुझे 100% है।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर बात करने के लिए।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Introducing Motorola Signature.
Introducing Motorola Signature. Don't blend in, stand out.
आज मैं डिब्रूगढ़ के मंच से कांग्रेस के नेता राहुल गांधी को पूछना चाहता हूं, आपने असम को क्या दिया? गोलियां, बम धमाके, संघर्ष और युवाओं की मौत। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने के बाद, नरेंद्र मोदी प्रधानमंत्री बनने के बाद पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट क्षेत्र में 20 से ज्यादा समझौते हुए 10,000 युवाओं ने हथियार नीचे डालकर हमारे आसाम और नॉर्थ ईस्ट को सुरक्षित बनाया है। एक जमाने में यहां कर्फ्यू, बम धमाके, गोलियों की आवाज थी। आज भूपेंद्र दा का संगीत यहां से पूरे विश्व में पहुंच रहा है। आज मैं डिब्रूगढ़ के मंच से कांग्रेस के नेता राहुल गांधी को पूछना चाहता हूं, आपने असम को क्या दिया? गोलियां, बम धमाके, संघर्ष और युवाओं की मौत। भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनने के बाद, नरेंद्र मोदी प्रधानमंत्री बनने के बाद पूरे नॉर्थ ईस्ट क्षेत्र में 20 से ज्यादा समझौते हुए 10,000 युवाओं ने हथियार नीचे डालकर हमारे आसाम और नॉर्थ ईस्ट को सुरक्षित बनाया है। एक जमाने में यहां कर्फ्यू, बम धमाके, गोलियों की आवाज थी। आज भूपेंद्र दा का संगीत यहां से पूरे विश्व में पहुंच रहा है।
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
You are watching India Today.
Hello everyone, welcome to the special conversation. India is aggressively reshaping the global trade footprints. And one such example is the crucial, or should I say the landmark deal which has been inked. India and European Union trade deal has been sealed. And the man who was leading the trade talks is the Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal ji. He's joining me here. Mr. Goyal, this has been in the making for 18 years. What made it possible now?
I think there was lack of courage of conviction when the Congress-led UPA government initiated talks 2006, 20 years ago. They launched in 7, aborted in 13, after 6 years, many rounds, because they didn't really understand the dynamics of a trade agreement with the developed world. They were not able to appreciate that the complementarities between the developed world and a developing country will safeguard the interests of our labor-intensive sectors, will open up opportunities for millions to get jobs, to get trading and export opportunities, and will help the Indian economy improve in terms of quality, improve in terms of its ability to grow faster. That government basically was weak in its understanding of economic fundamentals. And we saw that the way they steered the economy to literally become a fragile 5 economy by 14. It is Prime Minister Narendra Modi who recognized that India has the potential, and 140 crore Indians today have made it a collective vision to make India a developed and prosperous nation by 2047. And no country in the world has become a developed nation by living in isolation. You have to allow markets to flourish. You have to look for international trade to grow. You have to bring the best of technologies to your country. You have to attract a lot of capital to your country. And therefore, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the last 4 years has entered into 8 free trade agreements with 37 countries in the aggregate. All of them are developed nations. None of them with less than $20,000 per capita income. Therefore, in a way, insulating our economy from any competition really, because our $3,000 per capita economy makes products which don't really compete. They complement the developed world. At the same time, opening the doors to large investments to flow in, improving our own quality standards, improving what we produce and what we serve our consumers. Therefore, 140 crore customers, consumers, will get a better deal in life. So it's a very holistic, comprehensive vision of a developed India that we are working on and that are reflected in our free trade agreements.
Soon after the signing of that deal, you addressed a press conference. I was there attending that press conference. Mr. Goel, you had spoken about one particular sector, which was textiles. You said in textile sector alone, 6 to 8 million jobs will be created. So which sectors, according to you, will be the biggest winners? And is there a timeline or a roadmap that you are seeing?
I'd just like to draw the attention of your viewers to the textile story, because this has been an oft-repeated comment across the country. We often heard people complain that Bangladesh could export $30 billion worth of textiles to EU. Vietnam did more than 2 times our exports to EU in textiles. And we were doing a measly $7 billion out of the $253 billion of exports that the EU does every year. Just barely less than 3%. But that was because Bangladesh had zero duty access, being a less developed country. Vietnam had an FTA with the European Union. We were paying duties as high as 9, 10, 12%, because of which we were not competitive. That differentiation now goes away. As soon as it becomes effective later this year, the textiles, all textiles from India will get zero duty access from day one. Can you imagine the humongous potential? And textiles, as you know, is a very job-creating, job-intensive sector. Similarly, leather goods, footwear, sports goods, toys, our fisheries, the marine products that we export, our agri products, particularly as we process them into finished products. I mean, today, a Haldiram gets a huge valuation because worldwide there's a demand for packaged Indian goods. In my humble view, almost all labor-oriented goods that we export, and we currently also are exporting $35 billion worth of labor-intensive products to the European Union out of $75 billion of export. That can grow by leaps and bounds. Our industry has to come to speed. Our industry has to grab the opportunity, come out of that cozy comfort, make high-quality products to meet the European demand, and sky is the limit.
Okay, so tell me, since you were going through back and forth, I want to understand the backstory as well. What, according to you, was one thing that has worked in this deal which you have not managed to get from the US so far?
Every free trade agreement stands on its own legs. The economic situation, the potential demand, the ease of doing business or exporting to the country, the particular areas which are sensitive, which need to be protected, all of these differ from country to country. And therefore, I don't think any trade deal can be looked upon from the lens of another trade deal.
You spoke about 8 deals which have been inked in the last 4 years, of which 6 in the last 1.5 years. So there is this urgency and also perhaps a realization that there is need for strategic partnership. Is this association more to do with unpredictability in the White House?
Not at all. After all, we launched, let's say, take the European Union agreement. It was first decided that we should enter into a free trade agreement at Porto India-EU Summit in 2021. Coincidentally, Ms. von der Leyen was the EU Commission President and Mr. De Costa was the Prime Minister of Portugal and he's a person of Indian origin. At that time it was decided. Mid-22 it was launched. We've negotiated over the last 3.5 years. I don't think there was any turbulence or any other issue that could influence the relation between European Union and India. It's a deal in the making for a long period of time, successfully navigated on both sides so that it's a win-win for both countries, both the 27 European countries and India. And with this successful conclusion, we have not only been able to safeguard our sensitive sectors like rice, sugar, wheat, soya, corn, dairy, none of these have been opened up. But we've been able to get an opening for all the sectors of our interests, which will provide huge opportunities for export, provide huge jobs and business and investment potential in India, which will also help us get high-tech products or, let's say, cancer drugs. We'll get them cheaper for the cancer patients. Isn't that great for consumers? We'll be able to get more and more manufacturing of engineering products, auto components, automobiles drawn to India for the Indian market and from India for Africa, for Latin America, for other Asian countries. India will become a hub because the more relationships we develop with other countries, the more India has a potential to become the source for sales across the world.
So are you seeing this as some kind of a large trade reset?
Oh yes, it's a defining moment in India's history. Most people never imagined this 27-nation developed country bloc could ever enter into a free trade agreement with India. Most people thought India is too scared. Today, India is not a scared nation. India negotiates from a position of strength.
So since you're talking about that, let me remind our viewers of what the European Commission President, Madam Ursula, said. She praised you personally and said that you are a tough negotiator, a good negotiator. What, according to you, makes you one?
No, I think that was just her graciousness. I'm a very simple person. I negotiate under the guidance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He really empowers his ministers. He really encourages us to give our best. And the beauty of working with Prime Minister Modi is that his counsel really helps you take the right decision. And he has your back. He'll always support you, encourage you to be bold, has trust in your abilities to take the right decisions, and will never ever make you backtrack once you have made a decision. He encourages us to take strong decisions. He always reminds us that we have to look after the interests of 140 crore Indians, but at the same time, when we are negotiating, we have to remember we have the support of a strong economy strengthened by the skills and talent of 1.4 billion Indians. We have an economy which is going to grow from 4 trillion today to a $35 trillion economy. That's the delta of opportunity that we offer. And that's why we are able to negotiate from a position of strength.
Many would say that the phrase that has been used, mother of all deals, was something that was coined by you. So tell us the background of that story, because mother of all deals, that's how Madam Ursula spoke about. Prime Minister Modi said that this is a deal for global good. How is it really a deal of global good? Because, sir, this is about 27 nations, European Union and India. Globe is still bigger.
Well, I think Ms. von der Leyen very rightly put it that this reflects nearly 1/3 of global trade between the two countries. You know, the European Union imports nearly $7 trillion of goods and little under $3 trillion of services. Our export to them is a minuscule proportion of that. Now we have such a large market opening up for us. Similarly, she recognizes, and every free trade deal is about the future. She recognizes that as we grow from a $4 trillion to a $30 trillion economy, what a huge opportunity the Indian business story market is going to be, which is why I think she called it the mother of all deals.
Last time when I spoke to you, you were very optimistic about the US trade negotiations. You had said that it's progressing in the right way. Where do we stand on that today? Is it progress or pause?
No, it's very good progress. We are in continuous engagement with them. Often through video conferences, through messages, and our teams are engaged in discussing with their teams. So very good progress is being made, and I continue to be not only optimistic, very optimistic.
Couple of questions on your Karm Bhumi, that is Maharashtra, your home as well. I'm speaking to you on a day your dad would have been 100 years old. You remember him very fondly. I was looking at the tweet that you have put out. He is not around to see your success. Your best memory of him?
Well, he was very, very particular all through his life that whatever we do with perfection. We do it very carefully and never miss out on the fine detail. I remember every time if I ever went to him with some paper or something that I had prepared, or sometimes even a letter I may have prepared to somebody, he could find, he had an eye for detail. He could take out 20 areas where you could do better. And that gradually rubs off on you. And then it rubs off on your next generation. So we've inherited a lot of good qualities from him. Maybe not being truly diligent in every quality, but for example, he was very, very particular about punctuality and time. I wish I could be equally punctual and on time. So there are some missed opportunities, but it's a day on which one can reflect and look at what one could do better in the future. But I have very fond memories of his teachings about high level of integrity in public service, his teachings about how we could reach out to more and more people through the field of politics, how he was very conscious that we must stand on our own feet economically before we delve into full-time public life. So he himself worked 30 years before he stopped everything and became a full-time party worker. While he continued to work for the party in his job, while doing a job, but he made sure that he had enough money and capital to live an honest life all through after retirement, while he could work for the party. He gave all of us very good quality education. The entire family focus was high quality education. My brother was an engineer from IIT Kanpur, topped his university, went to MIT, did very well there, worked for a few years, came back to India and is now serving in India. Sisters, everybody studied very well. I did my chartered accountancy and law. So he was very clear that you all have to stand on your own feet. I worked 30 years in the private sector before I became a minister and had to give up everything on 26 May 2014. I never got any public office or any important position while he was alive.
That's right.
There's no dynastic inheritance that I've got from him just because I'm his son. He passed away in 2008. I was a small functionary in Mumbai at that point of time. So I think it was the party's graciousness that they brought me to Delhi in 10 formally, even though I'd been working in national politics and national elections ever since 1989. But I got a formal position only in 2010, 2 years after he passed away. And the Honorable Prime Minister was truly very, very generous in giving me an opportunity to serve the nation in 14.
There is a power transition happening in your state. It is happening, of course, after a tragedy. Ajit Pawar has worked very closely with you. Late Ajit Pawar had worked, I should say. Today, his wife is taking charge. How do you look at this transition?
Well, we'll miss Ajit Dada a lot. He was a very, very good administrator. He served the state of Maharashtra for nearly 40 years. A people's leader, very, very much loved by his constituents, by the people of Maharashtra. And we will all miss him dearly in the Mahayuti. And on a personal note, I will certainly miss that charming smile and the jovial nature that he always had. But I wish Sunetra Bhabhi the best in her public service as she takes on the mantle of the Deputy Chief Minister today. And I'm sure she'll do him proud with her simple nature, yet very compassionate demeanor.
Mr. Goel, thank you for speaking to India Today.
Thank you.
You are watching India Today.
Introducing Motorola Signature.
Introducing Motorola Signature. Don't blend in, stand out.
और मैं आज ममता जी को कहने आया हूं, पर्दा डालना है तो डालो ममता जी, पर्दा डालना है तो डालो। अप्रैल के बाद भाजपा सरकार आएगी और अग्निकांड के आरोपियों को चुन चुन कर हम जहर की सलाखों के पीछे गए। आनंदपुर वेयर हाउस का अग्निकांड, ममता जी चीख चीख कर कहता है कि अग्निकांड में आपके लोग शामिल हैं।
You are watching India Today.
Good evening. Maharashtra has a new Deputy Chief Minister. Sunetra Pawar, the wife of late Ajit Pawar, has just taken oath as the first woman Deputy Chief Minister of the state of Maharashtra. We're getting you all the reactions on that big story that we're tracking very closely. I'm Sneha Mordani. Let's tell you a little more about what's making news this Saturday evening. Power continues to remain with the Pawar in the NCP after Ajit Dada's sudden demise. His wife Sunetra takes oath as the Deputy Chief Minister. Chants of Ajit Dada Amar Rahe echo during the oath ceremony. Cracks in the Pawar family over the elevation of Sunetra Pawar. Uncle Sharad Pawar says he was unaware of her becoming the Deputy Chief Minister. Supriya Sule snubs questions on the issue. Both failed to attend the oath ceremony amid rumours of NCP merger. Ahead of the union budget, India Today speaks exclusively to Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goel. Goel outlines key outcomes of India-EU mother of all deals. He also remembers friend Ajit Pawar, hails him as a good administrator.
India has the potential, and 140 crore Indians today have made it a collective vision to make India a developed and prosperous nation by 2047. So it's a very holistic, comprehensive vision of a developed India that we are working on.
Home Minister Amit Shah launches a scathing attack on Mamata Banerjee, says fire in Anandpur's Bao Momo outlet is not an accident but result of corruption. Shah also invokes Puspetia attack on the Trinamool, says TMC is opposing Vande Mataram for the sake of vote bank politics and to appease infiltrators.
तो पूछना चाहता हूं, अगर ये घुसपैठिए होते तो आपका रिएक्शन ऐसा ही होता क्या?
South India's real estate tycoon, chairman of Confident Group, CJ Roy, dies by suicide, allegedly killed himself at his Bengaluru residence amid income tax scrutiny of his firm. Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister alleges harassment by probe agency officers, orders a high-level inquiry. American President Donald Trump is facing the heat following fresh revelations from the Epstein files. Documents claim the US president had been compromised by Israel, accuses family of corruption links. News coming in this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Sunetra Pawar as she becomes the Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister. He's posted this, and I quote from what the Prime Minister has said a few moments ago. I'm confident, he says, she will work tirelessly for the welfare of the people of the state and fulfill the vision of late Ajit Dada Pawar, is what Prime Minister Modi has said. Remember, this is the government in alliance, BJP with the NCP. And of course, the Shiv Sena, the Eknath Shinde faction, the NCP, the late Ajit Pawar faction of the party, together with the BJP in governance in the state of Maharashtra. The Prime Minister has congratulated Deputy Chief Minister. Unusual and tragic circumstances, Preeti, under which Sunetra Pawar has today taken oath as the first woman Deputy Chief Minister of the state. Yes, criticism. What was the need to do this so early, but also at the same time speculation on what next for the party's own future. Merger, no merger with the NCP Sharad Pawar faction. Many things up in the air as of now, isn't it?
Well, that's the nature of Indian politics,
Yes.
isn't it, Sneha? Because it's only been, 48 hours since the last rites of Ajit Pawar, and already we've seen his widow, who's a Rajya Sabha MP, Sunetra Pawar, take over as the Deputy Chief Minister of the state. Lots of questions, and, one can look at in terms of what happens to a political party which is already split in Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar factions. Will they come together? Because both are fighting an existential battle where their party is concerned, especially at the back of the debacle of local body polls, where they did terribly, even in their own bastion of Baramati. So a big question mark there. Having said that, lots of internal dynamics as well churning. And, one can only look at the fact of what Sharad Pawar, the Pawar family, 85-year-old patriarch, has said, that he had absolutely no clue that Sunetra Pawar was coming in to take oath as chief minister. He had actually called a meeting of the family to discuss, the events, the tragic circumstances in which his nephew had passed and what to do next. He also, made clear, and Sharad Pawar is not a man, Sneha, who will, he mulls his words. He knows exactly what political messaging needs to be delivered. So when Sharad Pawar indicates that there were talks of a merger between Ajit Pawar and him, and possibly 12th of February would have been the day of announcement, he's making a political point. How has it gone down? Well, because look at what's happening in the NCP Ajit Pawar faction. No big leader has really come out and given credence to the speculations that there was a possible merger on the card. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. Sunetra Pawar takes over the deputy chief ministership. Important portfolios. Finance is, Maharashtra is the richest state in the country. But the important portfolio of finance, which Ajit Pawar had fought tooth and nail for, a portfolio that has been very, very dear to the NCP, keeping in mind, like I said, that Maharashtra being the richest state, the finance portfolio right now is going to be with the Chief Minister, Devendra Fadnavis, at least where he tables the budget, which is going to happen, very soon. The budget would have already been made. It was Ajit Pawar would have tabled it, but now the all-important finance portfolio stays with Devendra Fadnavis, and he will be presenting the budget. Excise is another important portfolio which stays with Sunetra Pawar. Sports and minority affairs are other portfolios which will stay with Sunetra Pawar. But will the finance portfolio come back to the NCP Ajit Pawar faction? There's a question mark there. It is, and one can understand. Sunetra Pawar really doesn't know how to even present a budget like that. It's coming up in the next a week where Maharashtra's budget needs to be presented. But this would be a portfolio that the NCP will want back. What happens now to Sunetra Pawar's vacated Rajya Sabha chair? Speculations rife that it would possibly be Parth or Jay, the two sons of Ajit Pawar, one of which will take over, that Rajya Sabha chair. By-elections where Baramati Assembly constituency is concerned. Once again, will it be, because now if Sunetra Pawar is the Deputy Chief Minister, it does seem that it will be she who will be taking over and fighting that by-election. There are local body polls, the last of the local body polls, Zilla Parishad polls, which are due on the 7th of February. They were to take place on the 7th of February. The Pawar's, Ajit Pawar faction really hopes now there's a sympathy wave at the back of the tragedy that has taken place and taken away their leader. A lot depends on the outcome of the polls on how the Ajit Pawar faction, really does there. Important to note, at this point of time, Sneha, the leadership, the top leadership right now of the Ajit Pawar faction, you haven't really seen anything coming in from the likes of Praful Patel, Chhagan Bhujbal, Sunil Tatkare. These are the leaders. If there was so much talk of merger, they are really not commenting on it. You had Chhagan Bhujbal, who proposed the name of Sunetra Pawar as the main proposer, and then of course the second list were other senior leaders of the NCP. But Chhagan Bhujbal, many would have thought, was also fancying his chances to be Deputy Chief Minister. He's been Deputy Chief Minister before, but what has happened right now has happened under circumstances of extreme duress, and it was only plausible that a Pawar and someone from Ajit Pawar's family take over, the mantle of Deputy Chief Ministership. And in all of this, one cannot forget the role of the BJP. BJP in brute majority, a lot of what we've seen in terms of developments of the last 48 hours will be at the behest of the Bharatiya Janata Party as well, Sneha. And till now, you had Ajit Pawar as a Deputy Chief Minister who had been used as a counterbalance of sorts by Devendra Fadnavis to keep Eknath Shinde's ambitions in check. Not saying Ajit Pawar didn't have his ambitions, but he knew exactly when to leverage those ambitions. And he worked very well in that sense where Devendra Fadnavis is concerned. Will Sunetra Pawar be able to do that? That's the big question. What comes off now where the power dynamics within the Pawar clan is concerned?
That's right.
Especially the last 24 hours, indication seems to suggest that the Sharad Pawar faction, and especially because the entire family of the Pawars decided to, if you remember, stay back with Sharad Pawar when the political split happened.
All right.
And,
Preeti,
they would
tell
be
our
hoping
viewers,
for a
these are
merger
images
soon.
live on our screens at this point in time after Sunetra Pawar took over as the Deputy Chief Minister. These are images, in fact, live on your screens of Sunetra Pawar, in fact, meeting with family members, also workers of the party, of the NCP at this point in time, with folded hands, thanking everyone for their support at this hour. Remember, just on the 28th of January, only a few days ago, we saw the tragic demise of Sunetra Pawar. Pictures on your screen are from earlier today when Sunetra Pawar took oath. I'll come back to you, Preeti, in a moment from now for more on that. But this is a top focus story right here. Remember, today, Sunetra Pawar took oath as the Deputy Chief Minister, and the power, of course, as was hoped by the NCP, continues to remain in the hands of a Pawar in both the NCP and in Maharashtra. Sunetra Pawar taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister, and doing so becomes the first woman to hold this position. Following the untimely demise of her husband, Ajit Pawar, the Rajya Sabha MP stepped decisively into leadership, carrying forward his political legacy. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, along with Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, attended the oath-taking ceremony. The oath was administered by Governor Acharya Devrat. Chants of Ajit Dada Amar Rahe echoed during the oath ceremony, underscoring the legacy left behind by Ajit Pawar and what was really wanted by the workers, the cadre of the party in that sense. Earlier in the day, NCP legislators unanimously elected her as the party's legislature leader, clearing the path for her elevation. Sunetra Pawar will retain the crucial state, excise and sports portfolios previously handled by Ajit Pawar. In the interim, the finance portfolio will be held by the Chief Minister. It's expected to return to the NCP after the budget session, is what we are learning at this point in time.
इस वक्त हमारे साथ छगन भुजबल जी हैं। भुजबल जी, अजीत पवार फैक्शन की तरफ से महाराष्ट्र को जो एक महिला डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर मिल गई है, क्या आप लोगों ने कभी सोचा कि चीफ मिनिस्टर भी बनाना है?
हम तो देखिए, हम फुले शाहू अम्बेडकर की राह पर चलने वाले, हम तो चाहते हैं कि महिला मुख्यमंत्री भी बननी चाहिए। सारी बड़े बड़ी जगह के ऊपर जो है महिला हमको दिखनी चाहिए। और एक बात है कि अभी वो जो हादसा हुआ है उसके पार्श्वभूमि पर जो है ये सब प्रोग्राम हुआ, करना पड़ा, क्योंकि 3 दिन के बाद कितना दिन हम रुकते थे।
लेकिन वही बात तो बहुत सारे
चर्चा शुरू,
बहुत सारे लोग तो इसी बात के कह रहे हैं कि कितनी जल्दी क्या थी, अभी तो शोक खत्म भी नहीं हुआ था।
अभी भी शोक खत्म, फिर भी आप ही लोग जो है पहले दिन से पूछ रहे हैं कि मर्जर का क्या होगा, तो उसमें जल्दबाजी नहीं है। तो ये अपनी अपनी जो समझ की बात है, कोई बोले 3 दिन 4 दिन जल्दी हो, कोई बोले लेट हो। हम तो चाहते हैं कि दिल्ली में दूसरे दिन उसी दिन जो है शपथ ली गई है, ये भी देखा है हमने।
इट्स अ प्राउड, मतलब पूरे महाराष्ट्र के लिए, स्पेशली राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी के लिए फिर से एक हिस्ट्री क्रिएट करने के लिए, क्योंकि हमारे पास पहले कभी महिला उप मुख्यमंत्री पद नहीं आया किसी के, मतलब महाराष्ट्र में पहली महिला डीसीएम होने के लिए और हिस्ट्री बनाने के लिए हम सबको ऐसा लग रहा है कि एक प्राउड मोमेंट है, क्योंकि हमने देखा है वही लगातार सोशल वर्क में महिलाओं के लिए, युवकों के लिए बहुत काम किया करती थी। अब उसका जो बेनिफिट है पूरे महाराष्ट्र को देखने मिलेगा।
Be with us, and so does my colleague Vidya, who has been tracking that story from Lok Bhavan, where Sunetra Pawar earlier took oath today. I'm going to get in a quick word from Vidya as well, has been in conversation. And Vidya, you were asking so many leaders of the NCP, what was the need to do this in a so much hurry, just few days after this tragic accident took place that took the life of Ajit Pawar. Why couldn't have this waited? And they do say that this indeed was a bit of a dilemma, really, isn't it, before the party?
Well, one thing is clear that, when I spoke to most of them, they kept saying that this is exactly what Ajit Pawar would have wanted. Ajit Pawar was not the kind of person who would have waited for something to really get over and then to proceed with the work that was at hand. In fact, this is what everyone from Manik Rao Kokate to Sana Malik to just what every NCP MLA that I've spoken to, they said the same, that this is exactly how Ajit Pawar would have liked it done. And that's probably the reason. And of course, when I asked them if Sunetra Pawar would be able to fill in the shoes of Ajit Pawar, they accepted that it would certainly take time. But she has, been working with Ajit Pawar, so it would not be very difficult. But yes, it would not be the same as it was with Ajit Pawar. And also, when I asked about whether Sunetra Pawar would be able to share the equation that Ajit Pawar used to share. If you saw the Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, Devendra Fadnavis, Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, and Ajit Pawar, all three are at a table, you could see the energy there, you could see a chemistry there. However, will that chemistry really happen with Sunetra Pawar is something that everyone is not very sure of. But then, of course, probably we'll have to really give her some time to come in her own. And as we all know, that she's the first Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra who is a woman. So all credit to her. You will have to really give her some time to prove her mantle is something that everyone here accepts.
Be with us. I'm going to come back to you for more on that. Preeti also is with us. Preeti, this is also, the road ahead won't be easy, isn't it? And that really is also a challenge before Sunetra Pawar, keeping the flock together. Well, the beginning of this journey has been fairly smooth in terms of unanimity in choosing Sunetra Pawar to lead or to be the replacement really to Ajit Pawar in that sense. But At the end of the day, you do have, two factions of the NCP. There's a big question mark on whether this is going to be coming together. They're going to be coming together. Of course, the family visibly disappointed with the sequence of events, with Supriya Sule also not saying anything about this development of Pawar, Sunetra Pawar taking oath. Sharad Pawar has also said he was completely in the dark about this.
Well, Sneha, one of Sunetra Pawar now taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra has less to do, sadly, at this point of time on being women. We can say she's the first deputy woman, chief minister of Maharashtra. But it has less to do with her gender and a lot more to do, and something I would think we all need to reflect on, of how regional politics, especially in this country, is deeply embedded in dynastic politics. And it had to be a Pawar today. It had to be, somebody from Ajit Pawar's family, where acceptance within the cadre is concerned, where general acceptance is concerned. So sadly, yes, in one way, one can celebrate that finally Maharashtra has a new deputy chief minister in the form of a woman. But, prudence demands that we understand it isn't because she's woman, it is because she is Pawar and she is, Ajit Pawar's wife. Does she have her task cut out in front of her? 100%. Ajit Pawar was a very deft politician. And I would think, sadly, as how unpredictable was his way of, functioning. And that was his way of passing away in the tragedy that we saw. But somebody, who was as deft, and, many would say that Ajit Pawar would never really reveal his cards. And we've seen this time in and time again. It's no small feat, Sneha, to be the longest serving deputy chief minister of Maharashtra. Many would say that he only represented as a regional satrap one bastion in Maharashtra, which is the Baramati Satrap Pawar belt. But, to continue being the longest serving chief minister of India's richest state is not a deputy chief minister, is not a mean feat. And you need to be a very deft, calculative politician to be able, to hold that position. Can Sunetra Pawar do so? She's taken oath. It's come in less than 48 hours of the last rite of her husband passing away. In any case, in terms of not just the portfolios on how she'll perform as deputy chief ministership, how she will keep the brinkmanship going within the party. Because, one thing is very clear. You just heard Chhagan Bhujbal there, and Vidya will also be able to tell us a little more. He's been deputy chief minister before. The likes of Chhagan Bhujbal, the likes of Praful Patel, Sunil Tatkare, who are in the Ajit Pawar camp, they would, at least for now, would try to stave off talks or any possibility of a merger, hoping to come into their own, finally. But you have to do so under the shadow of a Pawar. It's happening with, Sunetra Pawar. But is she going to be as strong as her husband in governance? I doubt it. Her sons as well. You have Parth and Jet, and other than Parth, who fought and lost an election in 2019, both her children have stayed completely away from politics. Who takes over the mantle of the Rajya Sabha chair, the Rajya Sabha seat that she abdicates when she takes over as deputy chief minister, because she's now deputy CM.
These are
One
questions
question
that
is
we'll
clear.
find perhaps answers to. Preeti, be with us. I'm just going to come back to you, Preeti, in a moment from now. We have more news coming in, like we've been talking about. Clearly, all is not well in the Pawar family over these fast-moving political developments, as Sunetra Pawar taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister. Cousin Supriya Sule has refused to answer when questioned regarding Sunetra's oath ceremony. These were questions that were asked of her, but she chose not to answer them.
सगळा महाराष्ट्र बघतोय की पवार साहेब का शपथ विधी
आम्ही तुमच्यासाठी काम करू.
एकच शब्द
कुठेतरी विश्वासात घेतलं नाही का ते? रामकृष्ण.
सगळा महाराष्ट्र बघतोय की पवार साहेब का शपथ विधी
आम्ही तुमच्यासाठी काम करू.
एकच शब्द
कुठेतरी विश्वासात घेतलं नाही का ते? रामकृष्ण.
सगळा
Omkar Bable is with us at the Lok Bhavan today. Omkar, we didn't see, in fact, Sharad Pawar or Supriya Sule present when Sunetra Pawar took over. Of course, they were with the family. Instantly after the news of Ajit Pawar's death broke out, we saw those images just a few days ago. But these pictures are very different, isn't it, today from what we'd seen just 2-3 days ago when Ajit Pawar had passed away. Today, Supriya Sule has refused to comment on Sunetra Pawar taking over.
Well, I think political drama is not over yet because exactly. I think political drama is not over yet because because Supriya Sule and Sharad Pawar both, including Rohit Pawar, they were not invited for the oath-taking ceremony. But interesting thing is, now I'm in Baramati, standing outside Govind Bagh, house of Sharad Pawar. Interesting thing is, before oath-taking, just 20 to 25 minutes before oath-taking ceremony, Supriya Sule went to meet mother of Ajit Pawar, Asha Tai. She called her Asha Kaki. So she went to meet Asha Tai in Kathewadi, where Ajit Pawar, where the farmhouse of Ajit Pawar is there, and she had a meeting with Asha Tai almost 40 to 45 minutes. When she came out, I asked her like what kind of talks you both initiated. Then she said, as it is, I wanted to go ahead for the budget session. So I asked Asha Tai that shall I go or not. Then she said the budget is for the nation and you must go to Delhi. And that's how Supriya Sule left. When we asked her about Sunetra Pawar's oath-taking ceremony and everything, she just said Ram Krishna Hari. That's how she concluded, and she avoided to speak over it. So it is very clear how the Pawar split is being on the surface and in upcoming time, because the question is still remains same: who will lead the political party? Because though Sunetra Pawar has become leader of their MLAs and CLP, but the main thing remains same, because even Praful Patel might be claiming, as he's right now is a working president of NCP. There might be some other fragments also. So question is still there, but it was very prominent, and it was I would like to foreground that Sharad Pawar already expressed his disagreement whatever is happening, and he was completely unaware. And after that, Parth Pawar came here in the Govind Bagh. Both had a meeting for almost 2 hours, and that's how I still think like the political drama will go on.
There isn't going to be an end so soon to that. Political drama, like you point out, Omkar, it's only unfolding at this point in time. Supriya Sule not saying anything, but to me, this clearly is a case of silence speaking louder than any words could have indicated. I'm going to thank you, Omkar, and also thanking Preeti Vidya as well, joining in with those details and tracking that story for us. For the moment, it's a wrap on this edition. Thank you for watching. News continues right here.
You are watching India Today.
Introducing Motorola Signature.
Introducing Motorola Signature. Don't blend in, stand out.
The challenge for Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman would be to maintain stability amidst volatile geo-economic situation.
What will this budget mean for the average taxpayer and the common citizen?
And how will the reforms expressed continue to be on track in 2026?
Join my colleagues Maria Shakil and Siddharth Zarabi. Budget coverage of Modinomics 2026.
See you there.
Hi, I'm Sana.
Here's your weather update. Delhi maximum 23 and minimum 9 degrees. Mumbai maximum 25 and minimum 23 degrees. Kolkata maximum 29 and minimum 16 degrees. Bengaluru maximum 28 and minimum 14 degrees. Chennai maximum 26 and minimum 22 degrees. Hyderabad maximum 29 and minimum 17 degrees.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Introducing Motorola Signature.
Introducing Motorola Signature. Don't blend in, stand out.
A quiet morning walk turned into a terrifying ordeal for a woman in Bengaluru. On January 26th at around 6:54 am, the woman was attacked by a pet dog and left seriously injured. Police say the dog, owned by a man identified as Amaresh Reddy, suddenly lunged at the woman, biting her neck, face, hands and legs. She was rushed to a hospital where doctors administered more than 50 stitches to her face and neck. A bystander who tried to save the woman was also bitten during the attack. The woman's husband has now filed a police complaint accusing the dog owner of negligence. He has stressed that if the pet owner had followed safety protocols, the incident could have been prevented.
सबसे बड़ी बात है कि ये पूरा इंसिडेंट उस पेट ओनर के साथ में हुआ है। पेट ओनर उसको संभालने में, उसको बचाने में असहाय दिखा है। इस तरीके के कृत्य में जो इस पालतू जानवर के जो मालिक हैं, जो इसके लिए जिम्मेदार हैं, उन्हें कड़ी से कड़ी सजा दी जाए।
In August last year, a stray dog attack inside the Bengaluru University campus had left 2 female students injured, one of them critically. The increasing dog menace across the country has raised widespread concern, as over 10,000 people get bitten by dogs every day. The World Health Organization estimates that about 18,000 to 20,000 people die due to rabies in India annually, the highest number of fatalities worldwide. With over 37 lakh cases of dog bites recorded in 2024 alone, it's a mounting danger that can no longer be ignored. With Sagai Raj, Bureau Report, India Today.
Are watching India Today.
and welcome to a very special show right here on India Today. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor, and today we are talking about an issue that carries heavy implications for millions of Indians. Now, for years, weight has carried cultural labels that sound almost harmless, right? You must have heard phrases like these. आप तो खाते पीते घर से लगते हैं, healthy side पे हो, थोड़ा मोटू, थोड़ा क्यूटू. Phrases that often reduce a person to just their size. And once weight becomes a label, it starts influencing your confidence, your relationships, and how society treats you. But beyond these social and emotional layers lies something far more serious. Excess weight is now associated with multiple chronic health conditions, from diabetes and heart diseases to blood pressure and joint problems. Yet, instead of viewing it as a health signal, many still see it as just a matter of looks, discipline, or worse, willpower. Now, that mismatch takes a toll, not just on your health, but on your self-esteem, opportunity, and even mental well-being. And somewhere between those jokes, stigma, and oversimplified advice, like eat less, move more, the real conversation, that gets lost. But that's exactly why today is important, why this conversation is important. Today we launch a nationwide awareness campaign. CIPLA presents Win Over Weight in partnership with India Today Group. A campaign designed to simplify complex information, change mindsets, and help people understand that weight is not just about appearance, it's about being able to live life to its full potential. Ab wazan harega. So with that context setting, let's start our conversation. And please join me in welcoming our guests. Joining me today is, in this very, very important conversation, is from CIPLA. We have Mr. Achin Gupta, MD and Global CEO Designate. Welcome. Under his leadership, CIPLA has been driving several large-scale public health awareness initiatives. So thank you for being here today. Also with us is Dr. Rajesh Rajput. He's the Director for Endocrinology and Diabetes at Medanta Gurugram, with over 25 years of clinical experience in metabolic and hormonal and diabetes-related health. So thank you for your time. And with us also is Professor and Dr. Upen's recall. He's a Padma Shri awardee, of course, and we're very glad he could make time because otherwise he's very busy being the chairman of the Batra Heart Center and a globally recognized cardiologist with decades of experience in cardiovascular health, research, clinical care. So thank you, gentlemen, for being here and being part of this very important and exciting conversation. Let me begin with you, Achin. And firstly, congratulations. You've recently taken on a much bigger role, and I'm so happy to sort of see this, that you chose this as one of the key fights, one of the key campaigns that you will be taking forward. Help us understand how this became one of the key issues for you to take up first up.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here. And I would like to start by first saying that CIPLA is completing 90 years of its existence this year. It's a momentous occasion for us. Over the years, we have done a lot of work on therapy shaping. And when I say therapy shaping, it means we start with awareness even before it comes to the topic of what medicine helps the patient. And we've seen that being a very, very effective driver of change in India. So as the #1 supplier of medicines in the country, we shaped quite a few therapies, respiratory being one, where it's about awareness, where it's also then about stigma, which is a very important factor. And we've run campaigns like Berog Zindagi. We've run a campaign more recently on Toughies, which is for children. And as we realize, where the country is going, where lifestyles are going, how population is aging, we realize that the next big frontier is going to be around lifestyle conditions. And I think that's what brings us to obesity, which is quite prevalent. People may not recognize it the way it is, but it's almost maybe 10 crore patients who are, having this condition. So we took up this campaign to see how we can make a change here, how we can first and foremost create awareness, because if I'm not aware, I won't take any action. And, we specialize as a country, and, I'm one of fellow countrymen in trivializing issues, right?
Yeah.
So, like you said, khate peete ghar se hai kind of things. We saw the same patterns in respiratory. Koi baat nahi, khansi aa rahi hai, thoda sugar hai, koi baat nahi, त्योहार के बाद कम कर देना मीठा. That kind of stuff happens. So we want to create awareness. We want to lead a change where people are seeking not just treatments for vanity reasons, but actually for health outcomes. And people are consulting a medical practitioner for solutions which can help them lead a much healthier life, because clearly people are living longer, but we want people to live healthier as well. And that's where this whole initiative comes into being. So we're very proud to be associated with this, and we want to play our part in terms of creating that awareness and offering newer options for patients to take care of their conditions.
Okay, coming to you, Dr. Rajput. I think whenever we talk about weight, it's very important to understand ki overweight hai kaun. I think in India, the biggest problem is people who are obese don't think they are, people who are not think they are, right? So it's a double-edged sword over there. If you could explain to our audiences first up, what exactly does clinically obese mean?
So thank you, Sonal. Well, first of all, we have to understand हमारी सोसाइटी में ओबेसिटी या मोटापा या ओवरवेट को अभी भी हम लोग डिजीज नहीं समझते हैं. ये बहुत बड़ा